Hello and welcome to this introduction of our Copilot extension for Business Central that we call Inventory Queries. This is an extension that allows you to ask Copilot things like when you need to replenish the inventory of an item, what should be the reorder points, what are the projected inventory levels, etc. It brings a Copilot dialog to Business Central that is connected to an AI model that you set up in your Azure OpenAI. You can find the extension in AppSource by searching for Naviona and it will be part of the list of our extensions. Once you have installed it in your Business Central environment, the first thing you need to do is to set up an Azure OpenAI model. So in my Azure AI Foundry here, I have a deployment of a model. I use this GTP5 mini model. You can basically use any of the models, I think, as long as it's a reasoning model. You need it to be a AI reasoning model. Once you have this, you need to make a note of the Azure endpoint, which is this one. You make a note of the name of the model, which in my case is GPT-5 Mini. And you need to copy this key here. There's a copy feature right here. So once you have those three values, you go back into your Business Central. Then you go to your Copilot Inventory Query setup. You put the endpoint in here. You put the name of the deployment in here. And then you copy and paste the API key into this field here. Once you copy and paste the API key, it will get stored in this isolated storage, which is a Business Central feature. So it will not be displayed on the screen and it will not be stored in the setup table. It will be stored in the isolated storage. These three fields is all you need to integrate your Business Central environment with your OpenAI model. Then we have two fields here. This is a way to limit the history that gets sent to your model. So when you ask these inventory related queries, it will basically be based on, or some of the data is item ledger entries. So if you've been using Business Central for a long period of time, you might not need or want to send all your history to the model. So you can limit it with this field here. So if you say 24 months, it will only take 24 months of history and send that to the AI model. You can also compress the history. So there's a option to not compress, which is leaving this blank. You can compress it by month or you can compress it by week. Next is this fields to include. When you install the extension, it defaults the list here and it defaults the values that needs to be included when you do your inventory queries. But you can go here and add fields. So let's say I want to include a shelf number in the data sent to the AI model when I do my queries, then I can check this box here. If I want to exclude the type, I do that here. So this is a long list of the fields. And like I mentioned, they are defaulted when the extension gets installed. So you not necessarily need to go here and make any changes. But they're here if you want to see what's being shared with the OpenAI model. So that's all the setup that needs to be done. So let me now show you how this works. I'm going to go to my favorite stock keeping unit, this Tampa lamp, and we have this inventory query. So I can, for example, tell Copilot, please suggest a reorder point and reorder quantity for this item. And then I hit generate. The AI model will now take the data, which is the item ledger entries, take data from the stock keeping unit record, item record, forecasts and everything, and it will do this reasoning based on my query, and it will present a suggestion back like this. Use the stock keeping unit Location East data, suggested reorder point 440 pieces, suggested reorder quantity 350 pieces. So each time you get a response from this AI model, it will have the suggestion and then it will have an explanation to the suggestion below. It says I used the SKU weekly demand implied by the forecast and the SKU lead time of 5 weeks to get a lead time demand of 313, and then added the safety stock of 2 weeks. So you can kind of read why the system suggested these two values. So we think this is very useful. So now you can regenerate if you want another reasoning to be done, or you can discard, or you can keep it. So keep it will not update the values on the stock keeping unit, but it will add the query and the result into notes. You can go back and read this afterwards. Okay. Here's another example. When should I replenish this item and how many should I purchase? It takes a couple of seconds and the AI model is reading through the data, does its reasoning, and it's going to present the result. Sometimes it's quicker and sometimes it's a little bit slower. I also think the speed depends a little bit of the AI model you used in your OpenAI and how you have it configured. Here's the result. So it says do not rely on the current reordering settings because it hasn't been set up yet. But it says it has 76 on hand, but you have 350 arriving today, 50 arriving 11:15, plus 238 sales orders outstanding. You do not need an immediately emergency order beyond the 400 already on PO, but to cover forecast demand and provide safety stock, place a replenishment order now for 150 units. And then the explanation goes on. Okay, so I'm going to keep this. It gets saved here. Then we have maybe a third example. Do we have too much inventory on hand for this item? Short answer, probably not excessive at the East location. Explanation, the stock keeping unit for DF 10,000 at East shows 76 units on hand, 400 units of purchase orders, 250 units on sales orders. So after those are received and allocated, you would have 236 units available. If your recent weekly sales run about 45 to 60 units per week, it's based on the sales history, and that represents roughly 4 weeks of cover, blah, 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 blah. So this is the result, and I can keep it. Query is available from the stock keep unit like this. It's also available from the list, and it's on the item card and the item list. When you query from the item card or item list, it will look at the entire inventory across all the locations and the history across all the locations, the open orders across all the locations, etc. If you do it from the stock keeper unit, it will look at just that location item variant combination. Thank you for watching this introduction. Let us know if there's any questions.